On us, and the travel experts say you should get ready for traffic and packed airports.
That's right. AAA projects 63% of Americans will be traveling this summer, up 2% from last year.
Tonight, ABC Action News reporter JJ Burton is taking an in-depth look at all of this and finding out what you can do to make your journey as easy as possible.
Tanika Cabral and her daughter say they play no games when it comes to traveling, and preparation is key for these three.
For us, it's the unpredictables. So we live in Atlanta. Something predictable but very unpredictable is traffic. And so you can plan ahead, but you never know what's going to happen when you get on the highway. So we always use maps.
And they like to get to the airport early, but it doesn't always work out that way. So she's taking steps to make sure those long lines at TSA aren't a problem either.
I have Clear. I have TSA pre-checked. I opt into digital ID. Like, I need to be in and out.
All of that is vital for them because they have 3 big vacations planned this summer, and travel experts say the roads and airports will be packed.
83% of Floridians will travel this year, and about half of them are planning to take a summer trip. That is more than last year, and about a quarter of summer travelers have finalized their summer travel plans.
Mark Jenkins is with AAA. He says we will see the strongest travel numbers for the season this weekend. As a whole, they're predicting about 42.3 million Americans will travel this year, and that's up from 39.6 million last year.
We're expecting record-breaking Memorial Day travel numbers.
But 77% of the Americans planning to travel are worried because of last year's luggage and cancellation issues. Airlines say they spent the year preparing for this, and they've hired thousands of new employees, airports and TSA as well. However, there's still the ongoing pilot shortage issue.
It's absolutely huge.
Patrick Arnzen is the CEO of Thrust Flight, an airline training school.
I think this summer we're just all going to need to exercise, some patience. We're going to see a lot more delays than we've ever seen before, and that's not going to be because we don't have the airplanes to fly. It's because we don't have the crews to fly. We don't have the mechanics to work on these airplanes.
In an effort to help, the FAA is streamlining 169 East Coast routes to save 6,000 minutes of travel time. Officials at Tampa International are also telling folks to try to get a flight leaving early in the day because those flights are less likely to be interrupted. And Tanika says her best advice for travelers, try to stay positive.
But sometimes, you know what, there's nothing you can do and you just have to roll with it. And if you're going on vacation, maybe you have to chill a little bit.
JJ Burton, ABC Action News.
JJ, thank you. This upcoming holiday weekend will mark the unofficial beginning of summer, and AAA isn't the only organization making some big projections. The FAA also expects the summer air travel season to start with a bang. And Jameson, I know you have more on that.
Yeah, that's right over here, Wendy. It's going to be busy. The FAA forecasting over 310,000 flights will happen tomorrow through next Tuesday. Peak days are going to be on Thursday and Friday. And if you're kind of dreading that whole experience, I have some good news for you, at least when it comes to flights getting canceled. I dug through some of that data today. The lines here in yellow, they're from 2022. The green is this year. And as you can see, there have been significantly fewer delays in 2023. Now, when it comes down to those delays so far this year, the majority have been caused by weather. Volume is the second biggest culprit, while runway issues, equipment and staffing each made up less than 10% of delays.
Meanwhile, plane delays are one thing, but getting stuck waiting in security lines can also cause you to become quite impatient. There are speedier options like TSA PreCheck or Clear, but are they really worth it? Well, let's break it down for you. TSA PreCheck is $78 for a 5-year membership. These travelers don't have to remove their shoes or belts, nor do they need to remove laptops or liquids from their bags. And Clear costs $189 per year, verifies who you are using your eyes or a fingerprint, and then allows you to be escorted to the front of the line for security screenings. But as with many things, to get the full value, experts say you need to use it.
If you're not traveling, I would say at least 4 times a year using it, it's definitely not worth it.
Meanwhile, you already have TSA PreCheck. You should know that the agency recently approved a change. Teenagers 13 to 17 years old may now accompany enrolled parents or guardians through security screening.
And the other option you might be wondering about is travel insurance. It allows you to cancel your trip for any reason and get your money back. It can also cover lost baggage and health emergencies overseas. But Megan Moncrief of the St. Pete-based travel insurance comparison site Squaremouth tells us most people are using it these days for the reasons we just covered in our last story: flight delays and cancellations.
In today's world, the most used benefits are the travel delay, the misconnection, the baggage loss. Our data actually showed last year almost 50% of the claims that we saw paid were for pre-trip related inconveniences or cancellations, with the vast majority of those, 25% being from a delay specifically.
But you might be wondering, when is it worth it? Travel experts recommend considering insurance if your trip costs more than you can afford to lose. You're traveling internationally, you have connecting flights, and also if and when you're traveling to a hurricane-prone area. You might not know that travel insurance can also cover pilot and crew strikes. Here's the thing, you have to purchase that insurance before the strike is announced. Many policies also include labor strikes as a valid reason to cancel your flight, but save your documents because you may need proof showing the reason your trip was interrupted.